I resent my mother for not giving me the time I deserved with my newborn daughter. I recently gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. I'm so in love with her and she's the most perfect little thing I've seen in my life. However, this is my first and will be my only child, and my birth story is not a positive one where nothing went my way and I ended up opting for a C-section. Initially I was okay with having my husband and my mother in the birthing suite with me as my support people, but my mother started to really get on my nerves leading up to the birth. She would constantly make things about her and her experience having a child 25 plus years ago, would make cringe comments to the midwives and doctors, did not let my husband hold my hand when I was in pain getting a cervical exam. Eventually the decision was made that I was going to have a C-section, and I was secretly relieved that she would not be there. When the decision was made, she made my husband leave me in the hospital on my own so he could drive her back to our house so she could grab her car and go home. She drove to our house and came to the hospital with us after we refused to drive 20 minutes in the opposite direction to pick her up. 3 hours later we were finally scheduled for my C-section, and my mother was non-stop asking for updates. My husband told her we were waiting to go into theater and she drove straight back to the hospital. I told my husband to tell her that we don't know how long it will be until we're out of surgery and out of recovery, and she should just wait until we're ready to have visitors. She didn't listen and waited in the hospital cafeteria. Once I was out of recovery and back in a ward, I had held my daughter for all of 15 minutes when a nurse came and knocked on our door and said that there were parents asking for us down in the birth unit and we should let them know where we are. They were already in the hospital, so I told my husband to just let them know where we were. My mother came in first and gave me a kiss on the cheek and immediately asked to hold my daughter. At this point I had held her for all of 30 minutes of her life. I had not had a chance to have that special skin-to-skin time with her for long enough. My dad told her to leave the baby with me and she'll get a chance to hold her, but she made a whining noise and I just didn't want to listen to anything she had to say, so I handed my daughter to her. I know I should have been stronger and stood my ground, but I had just gotten out of surgery. I was exhausted from days in the hospital and a birth that didn't go to plan that I just didn't have the strength to say no. I feel like I will resent my mother for a long time because of this, and I can't stand to have her around for too long now. Everything she says or does gets on my nerves, and she's constantly telling me how to parent and what my child needs. I guess I just needed an outlet to get this off my chest.